Hello, Libras. So what you're seeing here is just a real quick fast forward of your cards for your 2019 love and relationship reading. The entire year, all the dominant energies, conflicts, issues, drama, everything. So I'm going to pause it right here. Okay. So, yes, this is your yearly reading for love. And there are 21 cards in this spread. And so the first row, 7 cards, January through April. Second row is May through August. And then this last row, headed towards the end of the year. And so hopefully you'll appreciate this new format. You get some face-to-face time as I explain the cards. I'm not going to be so academic. I'm pretty much just going to get down to the nitty-gritty here. And you're free to pause, obviously, YouTube, if you want to look at the cards in detail. I'm not going to, as I said, I kind of sped up through all of that. So, the theme of your reading for 2019 is loving and leaving. And don't be surprised if you might be the one leaving, doing all the leaving. And Libras are notorious for that. Just keeping their thoughts to themselves, and then at the first opportunity, they're gone. So I'm not saying that you're out to hurt people, but you might find that you end up with a different partner by the end of the year. Some of you might actually transition from one relationship to another. So loving and leaving, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Letting go is always good. I want to focus here. I'm going to be looking at some notes. Let's look at your root card. It's right in the center of your spread. This is the card that's in the middle row, and it's in the middle column, so it's right at the center of the cross. You have a King of Swords, which is associated with Aquarius. This King of Swords, obviously kings call the shots and they make the decisions. So this is all about you choosing what it is you want from a relationship. And this King of Swords, very intellectual. They're very judgmental at times. But as I said, this sort of informs the theme, loving and leaving. You trying to decide, is this relationship good for me or is it not? The other thing I want to look at is your major arcana. And out of all the readings I've done so far, you've got a lot of strong major arcana throughout the entire spread. The beginning of the year, January through April, things are kind of slow. You only have 2 major arcana cards. You have the Hangman, emotional confusion. It's complicated. And then you have this Fool who just breaks off and, follows his bliss. And it's surrounding this 2 of Cups here, this emotional commitment. So when I first saw this, I was like, oh, okay, who's leaving who here? Who's emotionally confused here? And I think it might be you, because there is that 9 of Swords. Swords represents air, and Libras, you are air sign, so a little bit of drama here. Okay. And I also noticed these 2 knights following each other. I'll get back to that in a second. When we come here to the second row, you have 3 major arcana. You have an Emperor, and then you have the Hermit, and then you have the Sun. So the Emperor is very, very strong here, because once again, the Emperor is sort of like the King of Swords. The Emperor is a major arcana card And the emperor is sort of like a lower echo. All the kings follow the emperor. So the emperor is definitely the ruler, calls the shots. He has a scepter or wand in his hand. And I feel like this is amplifying the energies of this King of Swords, because this is about control. This is about whatever I say goes. And sometimes the Emperor in a relationship reading, it can be about authority figures. Someone, and it can also mean obstacles, things where you have to abide by the rules. Okay? It could be your rules, the partner's rules, or an overriding situation as far as job or marriage that is getting in the way of the relationship, some sort of obstacle. But it's very inflexible. There's no way to get around it. You have to acknowledge this authority, and you have to sort of respect the authority. You can't, get around it. So when we come to the Hermit, we have this isolation. And I don't necessarily see the Hermit as being associated with loneliness. I see the Hermit as just taking time, checking out, so to speak, just to sort things out. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. So then you get this other card, you get the Sun, and the Sun is following this lovely Ace of Wands. So they kind of help each other out, because wands, an ace is always a new beginning, but you also have the Sun following it. And once again, I kind of feel like the Sun is bolstering or amplifying the energy of this Ace of Wands, new beginnings, optimism, happiness, and joy. And in a way, the Ace of Wands is also associated with the Fool, and you have the Magician holding the wand in your hand. And so intent, wielding your power. You can either hold a sword, which is about judgment and decision, or you can hold a wand, which is about creativity, inspiration, motivation, new ideas. So this is all very interesting as I look at your notes, and I think that you're going to feel very empowered. Usually, Libras, you're living in your head, and it's very easy for you to be very worried and take a step back. So the other thing I want to point out is you do have this Nine of Wands, and then you have this Nine of Swords, by the way, and then you have a King of Swords. But other than that, no other swords. It's just those two cards. But plenty of major arcana cards. So some of you Libras, for 2019, I kind of feel the vibe or the attitude that's going to be dominant is, let's just play it by ear. Let's see if this person has something to offer me. And it also feels as if you're not letting yourself get trapped into the paranoia and insecurity. It's sort of like, okay, you want to be with me? Great. If you don't, whatever. Okay. And sometimes that's a very powerful attitude to have in a relationship, because when people sense that you don't need them, when people sense that you're perfectly happy alone, it actually increases your attraction to them. And if someone's been playing games with you in 2018, and, you get to that point where, I really don't give a rat's ass anymore. I don't give a fuck, right? All of a sudden, people start changing their attitude because you are stepping out of the game. You're like, I'm not playing this game anymore. Play it with someone else. So when people see that you're not participating in this toxic relationship, or the dysfunction or the drama, yeah, it does tend to give people some perspective. Okay. So the major arcana cards in your last 4 months, incredibly strong, because near the end of the year you have the Magician. Once again, the Magician is about power, but you also have Temperance, which is about peace, harmony, balance, healing. And then you have Strength card, which is once again more fire, because you have this Leo the lion. And the lion represents the ego. The lion is a big personality as far as animals go. But you see the goddess sitting next to this lion, taming it. She's not afraid. She's perfectly secure. She's not in fear of anything. And so you're going to finish the year off strong, feeling more empowered about the relationship and having the upper hand. At the same time, I'm not getting a sense that you're trying to dominate anyone. I just feel like this vibe with the Fool and the Hermit is that you're seeking more spiritual awareness about what it is you want, and you're following through on that. You're establishing your boundaries, and you're not willing to allow someone to play mind games with you. Okay. So when we look at the first row, as I said, I'm seeing these two knights. The king, the Knight of Pentacles is following the Knight of Cups, and knights are about action. And I got a sense of, I'm going to follow your lead. Pentacles are much slower than cups. Cups can be very quick, not as quick as wands or fire, but cups represent water, this intuitive, someone coming to bring love. After a slow start, I get a sense of this nice, slow, romantic, emotional energy. I really like you. But then we head to the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles is just about safety and security in the physical world. Sometimes it can mean a happy family, home, riches, prosperity, whatever. But in this particular sense, seeing the context of the cards, I kind of feel it just simply means that security in a relationship. But then someone's bringing the drama here. I see you being worried, like, what's going on here? Can I trust this person? And so that's when we get this little sequence of the Hangman and the Fool surrounding the Two of Cups. So the person who is bringing love or an opportunity for a relationship, I see a lot of emotional baggage surrounding this, because now you have a Two of Cups. But then right after that Two of Cups and the emotional baggage of the Hangman, then we get the Fool just breaking free. And once again, I kind of see that as you saying, I'm going to just, I'm not ready yet. I'm just going to take some time. I'm going to take a new direction. Not necessarily a bad thing. When we head into the middle of the year, looking at my notes, so this first row, you keeping your feelings under wraps and, just secretly judging things. But this drama, I feel, is pushing you away from the relationship. So when we get to the middle of the year, some of you might have a lover looking for you, because you do have this Queen of Cups. We went from a Knight of Cups to a Queen of Cups. And we have this Emperor looking behind her, like just seeing what she's doing. So some of you, this push-pull, this little intrigue or soap opera going on, the Emperor is still clocking this Queen of Cups to see how she feels, if she really wants to be in the relationship. The Three of Pentacles is about productivity. Interesting how these pentacles seem to be showing up around the emotional energy. And so remember, pentacles are slow, so it feels as if some of you are attached to partners where it's taking them a really extended time to come to grips with their feelings and not be so insecure. So this is when we have a King of Pentacles followed by the Hermit. And then this is when I see a possibility of a new relationship, because then we have an Ace of Wands followed by the Sun. So some of you might actually be dating several people, or if you've been in a long-term relationship, you guys might have broken up, from what I see from the Fool, and you're just taking time to see if you do have feelings for each other. But Ace of Wands with the Sun, very positive, very optimistic. And the Wands energy seems to get stronger as we head into the end of the year. So you have a Queen of Wands, and this is where I got the strongest feeling that there could be a new person of interest for you. But then it's surrounded by a Five of Pentacles, and sometimes Five of Pentacles can mean being abandoned. It can mean a difficult period or time, like losing a job. But in a relationship reading, I see this as a separation, and it has a lot to do with this Queen of Wands, because after the Five of Pentacles, you have all of this victory, like Four of Wands, the card of celebration, Six of Wands, the card of achieving your goals, winning a battle, and then the Magician comes along as if to emphasize it, like you've won. This is the relationship you've been waiting for. Things are finally going to get a move on. And so now you have Temperance, and then you have Strength. And so I kind of feel you playing the field, but then eventually settling down. And even if you're not physically playing the field, I feel like emotionally you're sort of dancing around the issue of love, because you don't want drama, you don't want to be hurt. That Nine of Swords with the Hangman, it's a very difficult pair, because you're worried with drama, you're worried about being hurt, and the Hangman is about being tied up and there's nothing you can do about it. You're in a situation you can't control. And so some of this might be about you really starting to fall in love with someone, based on what I see in these cups, in the early part of the year, and then you trying to give yourself enough space to feel, yeah, I'm ready to love, I'm ready to move forward here. Okay, so yeah, I feel like it's going to be a year of you understanding what it is that I want from love. I also feel like with the Hermit, you're learning from your past mistakes. I'm also noticing how these three major arcana cards are all right under each other. You go from the Hangman, and then you get to the Hermit, and then it feels like the Magician comes along and you finally find that personal power, or that security, or that confidence, to build a new relationship. You're no longer insecure about that. Okay, so I think I need to retitle this Leaving Then Loving. Okay, so Libra, that was your reading. A big thank you to all of my subscribers and supporters and people who've gotten readings from me in the past. Thank you so much. It's been a really wonderful year. I do have a special going on with my tarot readings. You can still get a $10 reading for relationships. It's my relationship energy reading. It looks at the energies between you and your partner. Where is the relationship headed? What are the feelings and intentions? And it's a video reading, so you can download it and watch it as many times as you like. Okay, so if you've been thinking about getting a reading from me, you've been subscribing for a long time, this might be a great time. Treat yourself for the holidays. So check it out. And January readings will be coming later on this week, so stay tuned for that. So thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying your holiday season. I will see you in 2019. I wish you love and light and a happy new year.